Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I am your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, our tuxedo kitty, Lilu, and our Portuguese Pendago, Sophie. So welcome. If you're looking for me on Ravelry, I am Cristi-Lael, Cristi-Lael, and on Instagram, I'm Cristi-Lael without the dash. I'll put that down below because I spell it kind of interestingly. And this is a knitting podcast. It's been quite a while since I podcast last, but that means that I have several FOs to show you and lots of new yarn. So why don't we go ahead and get into it? Let's start with the FOs. So my first FO that I have to show you is my, let's see, this is October, my September Hippo for the Holidays / Yeti Goes To hat. I have been knitting one a month for the entire year in order to be able to do the knit along this year. Past couple of years I did it with socks and other things. This year I decided to do it with hats. Lauren at Lolo Did It went ahead and included the Yeti Goes To colorways this year. So I have done, 9 hats so far. This month's, or September's, hat was Hippo for spring, I believe. She's doing a series of seasonal Hippo colorways. I have Hippo for summer and spring and fall. I'm going to get winter as well, but this one was Hippo for spring. And I knit it doubly, held double with some Rowan Kid Silk Haze in a colorway I don't remember. In colorway, blasted, number 676, which is just a nice light neutral gray. And so I held that double with the Hippo Goes To, the Hippo for spring, and gives it a nice halo, and it makes the hats even that much more cozy and warm. I really like how these ones are turning out. I think that they are perfect for the cold weather. We had our first snowfall just the other day. A little bit early for me. I kind of like autumn to be autumn, but it is almost all melted now, so at least there's that. We can still enjoy the trees changing. But I do really like the way these hats are fitting. I have the brim is done double, so it's extra warm to sit over your ears, and the added mohair really adds to that as well, so they're nice and cozy hats. I've done 2 so far with the mohair. This is the one that I did in August, I believe. So there's that, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. 9 done so far, and as I said, I'm giving these to my co-workers for Christmas. Right now, I think I have 8 co-workers, so I'm good. At least I have enough. If I decided to stop right now, I have enough to give 2 Christmas presents, but I'm going to continue because there's only 3 more months that I have to do, and then I will have them all done. I've really enjoyed knitting these, and I've loved how so many of them have turned out. I really think that that Hippo for spring and this one are my favorites. This one was Yeti Goes To Disney, I believe. So I might end up keeping both of these for myself. And I can do that because I bought the yarn and I made the hats. But yeah, so that is my first FO. Next, I have some socks. As you may know, I have been trying to knit the 31 pairs of Christmas socks, the idea that I shamelessly stole from Amy Florence of Stranded Dye Works, and I don't feel bad about that. I don't think that she would mind knowing that I have stolen her idea, but I am trying to knit enough pairs of Christmas colored socks in order to be able to wear one every day for the month of December. Not this December. Let me clarify that. I will not have them done for this December, but I hopefully will have them done for next December. And then my mom asked what I was going to do when I was done, and I said, I don't know, I'll have to figure something else out. And she goes, well, you can knit me 25 pairs of Christmas socks to wear. So maybe I might do that after. Anyway, so I think this is pair number 6. And technically this is not a Christmas colorway, but it looks Christmassy to me. I bought it with the intention to use it for my Christmas socks, and so I am counting it as a Christmas colorway. And you can see why. This is Ching fibers in the colorway Cha-Cha, but it looks so much like a Christmas tree with its lights, doesn't it? That's what I see when I look at it. So I did these with my regular sock recipe, a Turkish cast-on toe-up. These are with a fish lips kiss heel, 1x1 ribbing with Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind-off, and I'm just really pleased with how they turned out. I really love this colorway. It was super fun to knit, and yeah, and I think I'm counting that as Christmas. I don't care what anybody else thinks. So got those finished, and then I have another pair of Christmas socks. I think these were the ones that I was working on in my last podcast. And here these are. Now these obviously are a Christmas colorway. This is Giddy Knits, Giddy Yarns, in her Christmas stocking sock set that she put out last Christmas, 2018, December 2018. So it was a 50-gram main skein in this beautiful red and green variegated, and then a 20-gram mini in this perfect Christmas red. And I loved the way these ones turned out as well. I did these exactly the same as I did my Cha-Chas, a Turkish toe cast-on toe-up, a fish lips kiss heel with the contrasting yarn, and then 1x1 ribbing Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. These ones are fantastic, and I can't wait to wear them. Part of me really wants to wear them now, or this December, but I don't have enough, so I'm going to save them all until I have at least 25 pairs to wear for the proper Advent time, yeah, so they'll be special. And speaking of Advent, I did get a question recently on through Ravelry asking if I was going to do the Advent swap this year. And yes, my plan is to do that. Assuming that there is more than, 2 other people that sign up, I plan on doing the Advent swap. I'm going to go ahead and open up a thread for that in the Ravelry group on Ravelry. And just to go over it real quickly, the rules are very basic. It is, the intention of it is to swap 25, it's up to you, 24 and a full skein, or 25 minis, 10-gram minis that are made out of sock yarn, and it needs to be commercially sold sock yarn, or it needs to be LYS quality sock yarn, so something that is sold at a yarn shop, not something that's sold at Michael's or Joann's or anything like that. It can be something that's sold online at an online yarn shop retailer, but it needs to be a decent quality opal or regia counts, but the Loops and Threads, I think is one of the Michaels brands. Those don't count. And obviously indie dyed yarn, and it's 10 grams of sock yarn, and you need to package it in a way that is going to be pleasing for your partner. Basically, you're going to package them up in individual little packages so that the partner can open one each day of December until Christmas Day. I will pair people up, and you can go ahead and get with your partner and decide whether or not you want to do any extras. The bare bones of the swap is that you will send 24 10-gram minis of a decent quality, high quality sock yarn to your partner, individually packaged, so that they can open them each day. What you do above and beyond that is up to you. I personally think that it is great to go ahead and add in some extra little fun things here and there, but it's up to you. Some people like to keep it bare bones. Some people like to go all out. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the thread. As I said, on Ravelry, please sign up. I'll give it until, I'll give it until the end of, let's see, today is October 12th, right? See, my Fitbit watch, the clock that I've used doesn't always update the date. So yeah, today is October 12th. I'm going to give it 2 weeks. So that's 14 days, yeah? So I'll give it to October 26th. And then that means that there'll be enough time for people to sign up, and then I can make the arrangements, pair people up, and you'll have enough time to talk to your partner real quick and do any shopping that you need to do. But do keep in mind that this is intended to be sock yarn from your stash, stuff that you've already used, leftovers from socks that you've made, or shawls that you've made, or hats that you've made. You don't need to buy. This isn't an idea for you to spend a whole bunch of money buying, great yarn to then send to your partner. This is more, stuff that you have left over. So don't feel like this is something that you have to invest a lot of money into. If you do decide with your partner to do a whole bunch of extra stuff, then obviously you're going to have to invest some money into that. But it really is more of a shop from your stash type of a thing in regards to the yarn. So yes, I'll open that up, and by the time this video goes up, it should already be open, and please feel free to sign up. Yeah, okay. So now let's talk about whips. I have a couple of whips to show you. No, that's yarn. Give me the giraffe. The bag with the giraffes on it. One in the middle, on the bottom. So first off, if you recall in the past couple of podcasts, I made a brioche cowl for my dad, and then out of a black and oatmeal color, and then I made a kind of a companion cowl for my husband. It was a 3-set cowls. It was opportunity straightforward, opportunity slanted, and opportunity crossed. So I made the opportunity straightforward for my dad, and I made the opportunity slanted for my husband. Out of so dad's was black and oatmeal, Ron's was red and oatmeal, and then I was making the third one opportunity crossed for my uncle out of black and red, using 3 skeins of Plymouth yarn in a tweed. But I decided that uncle's is not actually going to be crossed. I'm just continuing with the slant. So the idea originally is that you go this way and then you go back. So it's like a lightning bolt, but I didn't want to put that much brain power into it. So it's just going to be spiral. That's opportunity spiral. Let's go with that. So anyway, this is for my uncle. This is out of the leftover of the red and the black in the Plymouth Encore. Plymouth, what is it? Yeah, Plymouth Encore tweed. And here it is. I'm slightly over halfway done. This one is not reversible, just FYI. The other two were completely reversible, but because this is done with a cable instead of, whereas Opportunity Slanted was done with increases and decreases to make it go, whereas Opportunity Slanted is done with increases and decreases to kind of get that diagonal shape. This one is done with cables, as I said, so it looks really good on the right side, but the wrong side, as you can see, is not as attractive. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's not a mirror image. See, with this one, you've got the right side and then the wrong side is a mirror image, so you can, it's completely reversible. This one, not so much. But as I said, I'm nearly halfway, I'm a little over halfway done, and I think it's looking nice. I think Uncle will like it just fine, and it doesn't look anything like my dad's or my husband's. I don't want them to think that I'm just... well, let's say, so my grandmother used to buy my mom and my aunt, my mom and her sister, my aunt, and then my uncle's ex-wife, all the same thing for Christmas. And they're three completely different people with three completely different styles and completely different likes and dislikes. They don't look anything alike. They don't act anything alike. So the idea that my grandmother would just buy them three of the same things is not really all that enjoyable. And so I don't want Dad, Uncle, and Ron to think that I'm doing the same thing, because I'm not. These are all individualistic cowls. It just happened to be that they all could use them. So I'm taking advantage of that. So yeah, there you go. That's Uncle's cowl. Hopefully, I will have that done before I podcast next. It's been a little slow going, but it took me a while to get into it. With all of these, it took me a little while to get into it, and then once I did, I just knocked it out. So I expect that this one will end up finished pretty soon. And speaking of cowls, I also started one for my aunt. Her birthday was yesterday, actually. And I had planned all these great plans to get this cowl finished before her birthday and give it to her for her birthday. So my plan originally had been to make her depth, which is a pattern that was written for this specific yarn. This yarn here. This is Fiber Seed in the Sprout DK base in the Queen of Hearts colorway, and she does this, the dyer does this in fingering and worsted. I believe you can get it in Sprout fingering or Sprout worsted. And I just thought that that looked super cool. I saw it at a yarn shop in Montana when we were on our vacation this past summer, and so I thought, oh, I'll make that for Aunt Kathy. I am not in any way enjoying this. Here's what I've got so far. It is not pooling the way that it really should be pooling. You have to ignore from here, all this spot between my fingers, this like first inch and a half, because I was having a hard time getting it to work out right. I recast this thing on, gosh, it's like 7 times, and I just couldn't get it to pool right, and so I finally decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and keep knitting until I get it to pool, because I was changing needle sizes over and over and over again, and I was just getting discouraged. So I said, I'll just keep knitting until I get it to pool right, and then, because you knit it in a tube all the way around, and then you join the ends, and the original plan, I think, is to do like a, like to just sew them together, but I didn't like the way it looked. I am going to go ahead and pick up the stitches right around here and then cut this bit off, and I'm going to do a Kitchener close to close it up. But yeah, I'm not loving it. And obviously I didn't get it done for her birthday. So I figure I will just kind of keep trudging along, and maybe I'll have it done for Christmas. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm really not liking it. I got very close to ripping it out. In fact, I took the needles out and everything, and I said, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to do this. I'll find something else to do with this yarn for Aunt Kathy, but I just couldn't find anything that I thought would work with this kind of dye process. So at this point, it's just kind of sitting there, and I will continue on with it when I don't hate it. Right now, I'm having to knit it on, I think these are 9s. Let me see. Yeah, these are size 9 needles, and this is a DK weight yarn, so it's super loose. You can see how loose that gauge is. It will be worn, you know, like this, so that's at least a little bit more, it'll be a little bit warmer that way, but I'm just not loving it. I really am not loving it. So yeah, I mean, if I can keep it like this, I guess it won't be too bad. I like the look of it. I like the dye job. Just not really enjoying making it, but she's worth it. So I will keep making my way through. I have 2 skeins of it, so I've got to knit through a lot. But yeah, I just have to. It's not one of those things. I thought it was going to be easy. You know, it's stockinette. It's going to be easy. You just got to knit through and I have to pay attention to it. It's like knitting a big sock. But you really have to focus on your tension, and so there's times you can even see, like here, my tension was getting too tight, so I had to loosen it, and then it went. Sorry, I was looking on this side. So here, my tension was getting too tight, and so I had to loosen it, and then I got too loose, and now I'm having to tighten it again, and it's supposed to be more like this, and it's just not working out like that. So anyway, it is what it is, you know. Also, I will say that the pattern, a little bit pricey for how simple it is, the concept. So I'm kind of turned off by that too. Lastly, I have my next pair of Christmas socks, and these are almost done. I tried to stay up last night so I could finish them before I podcast today, but I just got too tired. But I can show you what I've got so far. Oh, I gave these really long legs. So here is sock number 1, completely done. Well, the ends need to be woven in, but it is done otherwise. This yarn is Western Sky Knits. No, I'm sorry. No, West Yorkshire Spinners. Western Sky Knits. WYS instead of WSY. Anyway, West Yorkshire Spinners, and the colorway is Hollyberry. And I love how these are turning out. Perfect workhorse yarn colorway. I did these with a Turkish toe cast up and an afterthought heel. And then I did a lot more ribbing than I normally do. I don't know why I decided to do that, but it goes quite a bit longer. As I said, I'm very close to being done. This is the second sock. That's where the heel will go. I have basically, like, I'm right there. So I just got to get through the 2 red stripes and then start the ribbing, and then I will be done. But these have been fun to knit. The yarn is not super soft, but it is no rougher than an opal or a regia. And I've heard that these wear really well like opal or regia. So So yeah, this is pair number 8, I think, which means that it's time to start thinking about my next pair. So pair number 9 is going to be a stripy. Here is what it looks like caked up. I just caked it up yesterday. This is White Birch Fiber Arts. There is her in Santa Baby. So it's I think it goes green, red, green, white, green, red, green, white stripes. And I'm looking forward to this. So as soon as I finish the second sock of this, I'm going onto this one. So yeah, super excited about that. White Birch is one of my favorite stripey dyers. She does such a great job and has shown up at the Yarn Fest in Loveland every year for the past 2 years. Well, I guess she's shown up for the past 2 years, and along with Cannon Hand Dyes, who is another one of my favorite dyers. So I've taken the opportunity to purchase some of her yarn every time that I see her. So yeah, that will be my next pair of socks, Christmas socks. And I'm kind of just in Christmas sock mode at this point. I do have plenty of other yarn up there. This is where, this is attached to a shelf right here I'm touching, and all of my sock yarn is up there, and I do that so that I can see it, because I forget about the pretties that I have if I don't see them, and it's just really nice to see them, you know. Also along this wall, you might notice I have all of my knitting bags. They are all just hanging from hooks. One of these days I'll do a tour. But yeah, so that is all of the whips that I have. I am going to be going on a road trip here pretty soon, and so I've decided, since we've gotten snow and it has gotten cooler, quite a bit cooler since the last time I podcast. I think the last time I podcast it was still in the high 80s, and today it's like 60 degrees, maybe 55 degrees outside. But I am going to start, I am going to get back into my Scrappy Hippo sweater. It is way overdue. So this is the one, oh gosh, look at how wrinkled it is. It's been in a bag for months and months. This is the sweater that I started using all of the leftovers from my Hippo for the holidays sock yarns that I've been using over the past 2 years. And so this, it's almost, I mean, it's very close to having the body done. And then I just have sleeves. So really am getting ready to just finish this thing up. This is going to be a very cozy sweater. There's no frills. It's just going to be one of those snugly warm. I'm planning on doing the sleeves extra long and giving them thumb holes so I can just kind of, you know, sit and watch the snowfall in my cozy sweater. So yeah, this will be coming back soon. Expect that soon. Oh, and I mentioned I'm going on a road trip soon, so this will be perfect to work on while on the road. That was what I brought it up for. Okay, so that is all of the whips. And I talked about my next projects, so I guess we'll go ahead and get into my yarn haul. There are 5 new skeins that I have added to my stash since we last talked. 2 of them are for the Color of the Month Club through Knittery Things. I expected to get this first one before my podcast last time, but it came a little bit late. So this is August's color, and it is called Teal-rific. It's turning out a lot more blue on my screen, but it is definitely a teal. Teal-rific with a sky blue speckled mini. So she is doing a different color every month, and it's a striper. I've been really pleased with them. There's been a couple that I haven't loved, like the pink one, but I do love this one. So there's that. And then I also have the September skein. And I was kind of, you all know I do not like black. I don't like black at all in any way. I like gray a lot, but I don't like black. So I was kind of sad when I opened up a package and saw that it was all wrapped up in black tissue paper. But I have to say that if you're going to do black, this is the way to do it. So it's called Smokestack. So it's a black and gray mix. There's only a little bit of black in there, just one black stripe every, looks like there's maybe four different stripes, and only one of them is black. And the contrasting or the complementing heel toe skein is in a beautiful silver color. So yeah, so I think I'm actually going to be able to use this. So the only one I haven't used is pink. The pink one was super pink. Yeah, the pink one is super pink. I'm not even a fan of any of those shades. So so that's the only one that has been a bit of a downer for me. But anyway, the other ones I've been really happy with. The red ones I knit up already, but I have green and yellow. The green one is probably my favorite one so far. The yellow one is right up there with it. And then regular blue. So yes, there's October, November, and December. Still haven't gotten orange, so I'm hoping that orange will come soon. But I have been really pleased. Oh, but there's a brown one.
Brown one? Oh, I see it. Top here.
A brown one. But I've been really pleased so far with what I have gotten. The pink one is really the only one that I haven't loved. So yeah, feeling pretty good about that. Next, I have sorry, I went on a complete tangent. Delaney and I went and hunted for all the colors. So red was January, February was blue, March was green, April was purple, May was yellow, June was brown, July was pink, August teal, and September was black/gray. So we have October, November, December. Orange, I expect, will be in there somewhere, hopefully. As you know, that's my favorite color. Then I have two more hippos. As I mentioned, she's doing one for each season. So this is Hippo for fall. I've been getting them all in either the simple worsted or the simple DK. This is simple DK. And then I also got Hippo for Halloween, which is also lovely. So that's two more hats. I think I'm going to get the Hippo for winter, and then I will be done because I have to knit November, December. 3 more hats, and I have, yeah, I'm almost done. And then lastly, I got a skein of Spun Right Round, which is a yarn dyer that I really love. And I could not pass up this colorway. This is called Raucous. That's upside down, Raucous. And this bit right here just made me super happy. So I picked this up at my local yarn shop at Knit Night one night recently. And that's all I've added. I've been trying to cut down on my expenditures just so that we can take some more of these little weekend trips. So we went to Kansas and stuff like that. So yeah. Plus, it's not like I don't have enough yarn to knit. So reading, it's now autumn, so all I want to do is read all of the creepy, spooky books. And along that vein, I've recently finished 2 books by Paul Tremblay. This one is The Disappearance at Devil's Rock, which I listened to on audio. It was a very good audiobook. It's about a boy, Tommy, who is 13 or 14, and he's out with his friends, and he disappears on Devil's Rock. And it goes back and forth of whether or not he was, a runaway or abducted, or maybe even something a little bit more supernaturally sinister happened to him. Very, very well written book. But this one blew my mind even more. This is A Head Full of Ghosts. And this is about a family where the oldest daughter may be possessed by a demon, and about them dealing with that. They end up having a TV show made about them while it was happening, and it was intense. I read this one in physical form. I think I recommend it that way because it needs to be kind of a slower consumption, or you need to be more invested in it. Whereas audiobooks, you can, kind of be doing something else and not be completely into the book. This one, I feel, has more of an impact if you are really into it. I just finished it this morning, and yeah, it was pretty impactful. So I highly recommend it. I also have one more from him. I haven't yet read this one. It is The Cabin at the End of the World. But if it's anything like these two, I'm really going to like it. I really like the atmosphere he gives his books. Very well done. So yeah, that would be my recommendation author for this episode. Also, I just got a copy of this, but I read it a while back. This is called Ella Minnow P, and it is by Mark Dunn. I might have talked about this before, and I apologize if I have, but this is a hard copy, a hardback copy of the book that I just got, and I love this book. This is about a little island off the coast of the East Coast, I believe, and they have kind of taken after their most famous son, who is the gentleman, Nolan Nollop, I think, who came up with the sentence, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, which, if you're not familiar, is a sentence that has all of the letters of the alphabet in it. So they have taken it upon themselves to eschew modern technology. So they don't use cell phones, and they don't really talk on the phone or use the internet at all. They write each other letters, and they have taken the art of letter writing to the nth degree, and so they really take pride in their letter writing. And on their town hall, I believe, they have the sentence, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And one day, one of the letters falls off, and they decide, the town elders decide, that this is a sign from Nollop that they are no longer to use that letter. I think the letter was like Q or something like that. No longer to use that letter. And so they pass a decree that in their speech and their letter writing, they could no longer use that letter, which is fine until more letters start falling off. And so the whole book is done in epistolary form. It's done with letters, and you watch them try to take this art form and continue it when there are less and less letters of the alphabet that they can use to convey their thoughts and feelings. I thought it was fantastic. I read it a long time ago, and I really loved it, so I wanted to recommend it as well today. Okay, guys, I guess that's it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Happy knitting. Bye.